folks. Welcome to another episode of Dogdude Encounters Radio. I'm your host, Mick Jaggeth. I'll be your host for this evening. Okay, I think I just said that. So tonight's episode is pretty crazy, so put on your seatbelts. Tonight's guest is Missy, and she is going to remain anonymous even though her real name is Susie. Okay, Missy, welcome to tonight's episode. How are you this evening?
Hi. Hi, folks. Hi. Great to be here, Vic. My name's Missy.
Well, that's just swell, Missy. Welcome to the program, and boy, you sure had quite an experience. I'm sure the folks just will love to hear about it, and it'll probably give them quite a scare. So just jump right in and tell us about what happened, Missy.
Okay. So, I was Christmas shopping a long time ago. It was probably about 10, 15 years ago. And I went to the mall. And it was really late. I got out of work. Oh, and I was rushing, and the mall was almost closing. And I just had like 10 minutes to get into the mall. And nobody was in the parking lot, and I was the only one. And I rushed in and bought my things. And I came out, and they locked up the mall after I was done. Came back out to my car. And there was this giant thing taking a piss on my car tire. And I dropped my bags. And I stood there. And I looked at it. And it just kept peeing. And I couldn't understand what I was seeing. And I went into panic shock, and I just froze. and
Hold on a few moments, folks. Okay, Missy, let's start from there. So you froze, and what did you see that made you get so panicked about?
Okay, so there was this. First thing was I smelled it. It smelled like in a garbage pail or something, like I was at the dump. And I seen it because it was taking a leak on my tire. So anyways, then it stood up and looked at me and smiled. And I got out my stun gun. And it just lunged at me. And I touched it with my stun gun. And it jolted it, and it flipped out. And it freaked out, and it lurched forward and grabbed me. And it just held me for a few moments, and it leaned down, and it looked into my face, and its mouth was wide open, and I smelled its disgusting breath, and it smelled like death, and it looked into my eyes, and somehow it communicated and spoke, and it said, "You're not my type. I hate your perfume." And I just couldn't understand what that meant. And it just dropped me. And it ran off. And I looked on my car tire, and it was like covered in orange, weird colored urine. And it smelled like 1,000 bathrooms. and I just jumped into my car, and I couldn't even figure out how to drive or start my car. I was in shock. And so I sat there, and finally I figured out how to do it. And I drove home, and I just left my presents and my gifts in the parking lot there. And I, I went home and tried to tell my husband, and he told me to stop taking Xanax and didn't believe me. So I just kept this story in my heart for so long, because how could I possibly tell anybody about it? Nobody, they'd think I was crazy.
Well, it's okay, Missy. You're not crazy. Lots of folks have seen these things, and so, wow, that if that happened to me, I probably would have had a heart attack myself. So, that was I can't even believe how close you came to. Those things are very dangerous creatures, and they do have mind powers, and for some reason they attack some people, and some people they just leave alone. And I think you've had enough for this evening, Missy. We're going to let you relax a bit, and I thank you for coming on tonight's program, and I know you have a couple more encounters uh, that happened because apparently this thing was not finished with you yet, right, Missy?
Well, yes, I think for some reason it decided it wanted to stalk me, and yes, I can't talk about it right now. And so just please, people, be careful out there. And the stun guns do work on these things. If I usually I started carrying my stun gun, and I'm glad I had it that night. And just be careful, folks.
Okay, folks, that'll do it. Have a good one later.